A new international study suggests homophobia in sports is alive and well on the field and in locker rooms. A survey of nearly 10,000 people, both gay and straight, was conducted in 6 English-speaking countries, including Canada, and finds anti-gay attitudes are keeping many out of sports. 81% of those surveyed say they've witnessed or experienced homophobia. 84% of gay men and 88% of lesbians say they faced slurs. And 23% of gay men say they have been physically assaulted. The study is being called the first and largest ever on homophobia in sports. For more on the study, let's bring in Dean Nelson. He's the founder of Pride House, the first Olympic LGBT pavilion, which debuted at the 2010 Olympic Winter Games in Vancouver, and we reached him in Vancouver. So, Dean, one of the key findings of the study is that 81% of those surveyed say they've witnessed or experienced homophobia in sports. You've had a chance to look at this study. What's your reaction, Dean?
Well, in honesty, it's not a big surprise. It proves that homophobia is very relevant and happening right today.
How could it continue to happen?
Well, I think it's one of those things that people just didn't want to talk about. But since 2010, we've been having conversation more about homophobia and actually talking about homophobia in sport specifically.
What about the fact that 23% of gay men in this survey say that they were physically assaulted?
Yeah, it's true.
How can that happen? How can they be physically assaulted? I'm just trying to I'm trying to understand how this kind of thing can go on in the year 2015. I'm not trying to be naive. That just seems astonishing to me.
Yeah, well, it takes an environment that creates an inclusive nature that won't tolerate that type of behavior. And unfortunately, the education system or the sports teams don't necessarily have the policies in place to protect those athletes from that type of harassment. They think it's funny, it's a joke. You call somebody girly or a fag or whatever. It seems to be funny, but it's not. It's very hurtful.
Let me just ask you, in terms of what you think needs to be done so that maybe in a few years from now we'll have a survey and we won't have these kind of horrifying statistics.
Yeah, well, since 2010, we created the conversation. So that was a huge first step. And since then, 5 years later, this past December, we saw the IOC actually update Principle 6. So we have a collection of activists all around the world that are advocating to different sports organizations, including Patrick Berg, who created the You Can Play Foundation, creating a safer environment for athletes to be completely authentic. And I think that's really, really important. So once that environment becomes safer for people to be themselves, then people will feel that, hey, I don't have to hide my sexuality. I can just play my sport and be the best athlete I possibly can. And I don't have to worry about the ramifications of being bullied or teased or beat up or having baseballs whipped at me or being cross-checked and my career being finished in a blink of an eye.
Dean, good to speak to you. Thank you very much. That's Dean Nelson, the founder of Pride House, speaking to us from Vancouver.
Great, thank you. Bye.